Hello and welcome into the Knicks-Verse. My name is George, and if this is your first time here, or you've been here before and haven't subscribed yet, please do so. And also hit the thumbs ups and drop your comments. Love the comments, especially after the game we just watched last night. If you didn't watch it, then you're here watching this. Thank you for joining me. And we're going to discuss what this game means, what actually happened, where the Knicks went wrong, where the Knicks went right. And I gotta say, I want to stress to everybody out there right now that focusing on right now at this moment on trades and breaking up this team and all that stuff, look, there's going to be a time and a place for that, absolutely. However, this team that we have right now is generally, basically, the same team we had last year, except we're missing Reggie Bullock and Elfrid Payton. Now, defensively, does that impact us? Absolutely, 100%. But don't lose sight. Don't lose sight of something. Look where we are right now. We're 12-14, basically where we were last season at around this time. Okay? Next thing is, we held the Toronto Raptors to 90 points. So, if you want to talk about defense, sure. But last night wasn't the night to talk about defense. The team was engaged defensively. Both teams struggled to shoot because both teams were getting out and challenging shooters. Were there times when guys got wide open looks? Of course, it's an NBA game. There's about 100 possessions during the game. At some point, guys are going to get open looks. But generally, both teams played some good defense, which is why the shooting was down. The percentages were down. I'm going to get all into that. Everything, I'm going to get into that. Okay, but what I want us to focus on mostly right now, because it's emblematic of the whole season. This is my issue. This moment here in the game. Now, if you watch the game, you'll remember this moment. We got the ball back because the coach's challenge worked. The ruling on the floor was overturned. Originally, they said it was a ball that went out of bounds off of Julius, but it was actually off of Fred VanVleet's foot, and we got the ball back. Now, the fact that we're down 2 points was an issue, because before this possession, there was a possession where, and I'm sure everyone, if they've seen the highlights, they've seen that play where there were 2 offensive rebounds in a row that the Toronto Raptors got for long three-pointers that Gary Trent Jr. hit. He finally hit the third three-point attempt. He's the one who started that play off. He shot a three-pointer. They got rebounded, and then it came back. I forgot who got the rebound. It might have been even Scotty Barnes. I don't remember. Someone else got another look, another long rebound. And they got it back to Gary Trent Jr., and he made that three-pointer, and that's why that lead was there. Now, back to this. So right before this moment, there was a shot of Tom Thibodeau on the sideline screaming, ISO, ISO. It was on television. Everybody saw it. The Toronto bench knew what was happening. Even though that happened, and actually now I'm going to, see who's open right there? Evan Fournier is open. Now we're going to watch the play. This is it. This is the inbound play here. So Julius gets the ball. Fournier's open. Nope. I'm not going to give it to him. Nope. I'm going to let it, I'm going to mishandle the dribble and create a terrible look opportunity. That's going to be the play. Okay. I understand, Julius. Your coach was calling for an ISO play. But that doesn't mean that's the play you have to run. Even Thibs says it. Just because you call a play, you got to see what the defense is giving you. And what the defense gave you at that moment was an opportunity to win the game by making the right play. And the right play at that moment is getting the ball to Evan Fournier, who had shot 3 of 7 three-pointers for the game at that point. The only reason Evan Fournier is even on the floor at that moment is because he's a fantastic, in the clutch, three-point shooter. We saw him. He did it in the Bulls game. He came in cold off the bench, and he switched the three-pointer for us. I mean, that was a big bucket. He was there to do it again. and you forced the issue. You wanted to be the hero, and then you didn't even handle the dribble correctly. That's what screwed up the play. I don't know what's going on. You got to work on your handles, brother. But other than that, it was still the wrong play, because then you lost control of the ball. You ended up getting doubled. You got doubled initially when the play first started, and that's why Fournier was open. For all we know, Fournier gets the ball, but maybe someone else closes out on him, and Fournier gets the ball back to you. There was plenty of time left. Actually, it wasn't that much time left. By that point, there was about, I believe, 5 seconds. Let's go back and watch it again. No, yeah, there 8 seconds on the shot clock. So Fournier would have had to have shot it. But the chance of Fournier hitting that shot at that moment, there's a 40% chance he hits that shot. And not only that, he's wide open. Wide open. You didn't even get a look. And then you get this, the Burks, who just has to throw a desperate shot up because the shot clock's winding down. Now we're going to go to another play. This play right here. 11 seconds left. RJ gets the ball. Same score. RJ, wait, no. Look what RJ does. He finds the open guy, which happens to be Julius Randle. Now, last season, Randle would have hit that shot. His three-point shot's not there this year, but that's not the way you can play. You got to play the right way, and the right way is to find the guy with the best clean shot on the court, and that's what RJ did. RJ was playing in Toronto. He was playing in front of 1,000 friends and family and supporters. His own, that he got into the game. I think that's what I heard. Either way, he could have hero balled it. But instead, you know what? He had probably about a 50-50 chance of making that layup at that time. He had Scotty Barnes on him, who's got tremendous wingspan. Yeah, he's turned kind of the wrong way, but he was ready to go up and swat that ball. Now, you might have gotten fouled, but we know how that works. We know how kind the refs are to Knicks players in late game execution in terms of not getting foul calls. So what did you do? You saw, when you turned, you saw Gary Trent Jr. right behind you, so you figured someone's open because you make the right play. It happened to be, the ball ended up in Julius's hands. It's a great look. Julius didn't make it. And we lost the game. So, I feel like, but that's just the end. That's just late game execution. This game was lost in the first quarter. Look what time Derrick Rose enters this game. 4:38. We were already down by 14 points. And he was even looking uglier than that at one point. Yeah. I think we had 5 points for a very long stretch. That's all we had. We weren't making buckets. They were. But, props to the team, the clawback, and they even took the lead in this game a couple of times. The question becomes, and it's the question I keep asking, and you guys know what I'm going to say. Why is Derrick Rose entering the game about 8 minutes in after we're down 14 points? Why is the only true point guard in the rotation entering the game at 8 minutes after we're down 14 points? This is like, I feel like you guys are banging your heads against the wall and waiting for it to start to feel good. Why are you fighting the reality of the situation? The reality of the situation is Derrick Rose should be starting at point guard for the New York Knicks. If you're worried about the minutes load, then don't play him. He's going to play the minutes he's going to play anyway. But let's start the game off, give ourselves a chance to win. Why put ourselves in a hole? All of the energy that was expended to try to get back in this game, you could see at the end, we just didn't have much. Luckily, RJ came back in the game. He hit a huge three-pointer, and he hit a tremendous floater from the left baseline. I believe that actually got us back and tied the game. Yes, actually it did. We took the lead with that one. And then, unfortunately, that three-pointer by Gary Trent Jr. off of the 2 offensive rebounds is what gave them the lead to go. There it is. There's the game flow chart. 90 to 87. Knicks only scored 87 points. Phew. And Toronto was without OG. So he's their leading scorer. I believe he's their leading scorer right now. So they're, and they were out without Precious, Achua, and Birch was also out. But you know what? Every team, they got to play with the players they have. And this, there it is right there. This is at, look at that. In a minute and 42 seconds left in the game, Derrick Rose, oh no, yeah, that was it. Derrick Rose makes an 18-foot pull-up jump shot. Those were the last points the Knicks scored for an entire minute and 42 seconds left in the game. Now, to talk about some of the good things, Obi Toppin had his career high last night, 19 points, 10 rebounds. His energy that he injected into this game was fantastic. I mean, he was a big reason why the Knicks were able to claw back into this game and then eventually even take the lead. He played the majority of the fourth quarter. And I think a lot of people, I've listened to some post games and read some stuff, and a lot of people were asking, hey, why wasn't Obi on the floor at the end when he was one of the key reasons why we were able to even be in this game? Well, I think we're going to find out that Obi has a concussion. He got whacked in the head really hard, and those were the last points he scored were those 2 free throws. And you can tell because afterwards he basically airballed a three-pointer, and then he had another 3-point opportunity from the corner. He did, I think, hit the rim that time, but they weren't good looks. And then when he finally got subbed out, or he was sitting on the bench after a timeout, they showed a close-up of him, and his eyes were all kind of glassy. I think he's concussed. I don't think he had it. And also, the Raptors were alternating between zone and man-to-man, and they started playing zone at that time. And what we needed was some 3-point shooting. So what Tom Thibodeau did was he brought in Fournier, and he brought Burks back in. And then we went small. And RJ was on the court, D Rose and Julius. And that unit managed to get the team back into the lead. That was that 1 minute and 42 seconds. That was when we had the lead. But when you guys are playing small and guys put up long 3-pointers, and Thibs said this in the post game, you can't be leaking out, to try to get behind the defense unless you've secured the rebound. Because when you're small, you need to put a body on the guy who's near you. Anybody. You got to put a body on anyone who's near you to try to get that rebound, to get that long rebound. The Knicks didn't do it. The Raptors did. And sometimes that's going to happen. That's going to happen. And they ended up getting the lead. But we still had a chance to win. And the play before this was also the reason the ball was out of bounds and all that stuff, because once again, mishandling of the ball in the paint resulted in almost a turnover. We had to, do a coach's challenge to get the ball back. So very poor late game execution, because we continue to run the offense through Julius Randle. Randle this season, the best version of Randle this season is when he feeds off of Rose and others. Yeah. Actually, Julius, when he came back into the game, he was a key contributor for the Knicks to gain the lead. He drove the paint. He followed. He was a trailer behind Rose as Rose was going up for a layup, and beautiful putback. We got some nice rebounds, some decent offensive rebounds. He played some good defense. He was contributing that way. He was playing more like San Antonio game version of Julius. But Thibs is the one who called that play. This game, this is it. This is the end of the experiment of Julius Randle as the point forward. Julius, he should not be the feature of the offense of this team. At times, yes, when we have certain matchup situations. But actually, there was a play to call him out and give him props where he was driving the lane and he had Fred VanVleet on him, And I think, that was the play where he found RJ for the three-pointer. He kicked it out. He could have forced it because he had been doing that. So he has the ability to do it and make the right play. But right there, that was the moment. That was the moment. And he didn't do it. But you know what? Who did play a lot? Alec Burks played 37 minutes. He made 0 buckets. He made 1 free throw. His 1 point was a free throw. He did give 5 assists. He got 5 rebounds. He did play some solid defense, especially on Van Vliet. But the guy offensively just didn't have it. And we've seen him. We know what he can do. We know he can score. He didn't have it that night. And I was wondering, why was Burks on the court for a long stretch there in the fourth quarter when actually Toronto started. They took back the lead, and then I think they ended up getting like a 6-7 point lead at one point, and RJ was not on the floor. And then RJ comes back into the game, and then the Knicks went on a 10-2 run. That's right. Now, RJ, he did not have a great shooting night. Nope, 5 of 16, hit 2 of 7 from three-pointers, but he had a monster three-pointer and a monster floater in the fourth quarter in crunch time. The guy has ice in his veins. He knows how to make the right play. 6 rebounds, still the 1 assist. That's it. I really wish he would do better than that, man, with the assists. But let's look at this here. Look at the plus minus. Minus 10 for Julius. Minus 12 for Nerlens. Minus 1 for Burks, because Burks did play a lot of minutes with the unit with Rose and IQ, that unit that got us back to lead. So that's why he was a minus 1, even though he only scored 1 point. And when you think about this, now I don't like to put it this way, but if Burks had just made 2 buckets, that's it. If Burks had gone 2 for 7, we would have won this game. But he's on the court because the coach chooses to put him on the court. He likes his size, but it sacrificed offense. We're having problems. We're having problems putting the right pieces together with this team. Now, you can make an argument saying we have the wrong pieces, George. And that might be right. However, I'm not ready to say that. I still believe that the ingredients are there on this roster to create a winning team. I still believe that. We saw it last season. We're not that dissimilar. And we actually have a little more offense this season than we did last season. Obi and IQ are playing better basketball this season than they did last season. IQ is offensively hasn't been as fabulous as he was last season, but he had bad games last season too offensively. So you got to remember that. He's a better defender. He's a better decision maker. So that's a big plus. We have a deep team, but look at how many players played. 9. Where was Quentin Grimes? As far as I'm concerned, tonight was a great time, once again, to utilize Grimes. Why couldn't Grimes have gotten, let's say, 12 of those Burks minutes? Let's even be, let's just say 7 of those Burke minutes. He could have given us 1 or 2 more three-pointers. We could have won the game. Again, beating your head against the wall, expecting it to eventually feel good. Just ain't gonna happen. Just ain't gonna happen. And here's the other thing. You have these ingredients, these players, these pieces. They're like ingredients. And it's almost like you're ignoring the ingredients you have, and you're just trying to make another recipe that doesn't fit the ingredients you have. You have to rethink the way you are structuring the offense of this team. The players are there. We can make this happen. It's probably not what you guys want to hear. You know, a lot of you guys probably just want to blow this team up, but it's not the time yet. Not the time yet. Can we add some pieces? Absolutely. Absolutely. And if something else presents itself, absolutely. But the solution The solution to return to winning is already on the roster. They just have to be utilized in the right way, just the way that RJ utilized this pass from Randall. He took it down, he gave the Knicks the best chance to win. I don't think he would have gotten a foul call there, and there's a very good chance Barnes could have blocked that shot. Barnes had already blocked, I think, at least one of RJ's attempts. He didn't want to risk it. He wanted to give the team the best chance to win. So Thibs, you got to stop risking, trying to play it safe in a lot of ways. Get a little more creative. Get a little more creative. Now, obviously, the turnovers were the reason we lost this game. Raptors got 17 points off turnovers. We got 9. There's a -8 differential. That's the game right there. You split that in half, we win. Boom. There's the standings. Now, fortunately, the East in the middle is packed in. We're only 3 losses away from 5th place. That's it, 3 losses. So, you know, we're not dying. I know last night was painful. I was screaming. I recorded this whole recap. Unfortunately, the audio screwed up, like I said before, and I wasn't able to upload it. So now I'm uploading this one. But I'm focusing on the same elements that I did last night. But I'm adding this right now because it feels like we're trending in the wrong direction, which we are because we're losing. I mean, you know, after the 5-1 start, we are now 7-13. Whoa, 7-13. That's pretty bad. Can we turn it around? Absolutely. Stop running the offense through Julius Randle. You got to start Derrick Rose. Derrick Rose should be the starting point guard. If you want to keep Burks on the floor, then start IQ in place of Fournier. So, Fournier, Burks, RJ. Actually, no, you wouldn't start IQ in that scenario. I would rather start IQ. But if you want to keep Burks on the floor, Rose, Burks, RJ, Julius, and Mitch. And Mitch, why did you post that, man, on Instagram? Come on, bro. It's not the time for that. You did play a good game. You were part of injecting some energy into this lineup when you came into the game. Absolutely. And then, you know, Nerlens was not effective in the first quarter, but in the third quarter, he was pretty effective. He gave us some nice points, some nice buckets then too. But he's still not right. He's still not 100% right. Okay, guys. Well, thank you so much for watching this. Let's don't lose hope yet. Thibs is a brilliant coach. He's got a brilliant staff. He's got tremendous high-quality players. Some that, I mean, well, Julius is still that guy. He's still the, second-team All-NBAer. Except, and I'm going to borrow something from Thibs himself, last year was last year. This is this year. Things have changed. You must adapt. You got to find the trust in each other and play the right way. Find the open guy. All right, well, thank you so much for watching this. Again, subscribe, hit the thumbs ups, and please drop your comments. Love the comments. And let's beat the Bucks. Come on, we can do it. We've done it.